So I appreciate everybody that participated in the exercise, and I wanted to just go over a couple of things with you, kind of a review. Dark Start was a operation that was laid around the loss of power due to the grid, and we all know that the power system in the United States is kind of fragile right now, they're saying. So I went back and looked at it, and all the way back into the 60s, we had big power outages, like the one that hit New York and all that, where it started to cascade from one system to the next, because everything's tied in. The lights that are coming on right here, some of that power is probably coming from Maine right now. So it's all tied together. So the worry was that there would be a problem if you put AI into that system, that it was going to fail. So it gave us a scenario. It gave us something to be able to work with. Back, and it's been a while now since we did high and dry 1 and high and dry 2. Unfortunately, right after that, Mr. Paul, we had a high and dry 3, but it wasn't a drill. It wasn't a drill. It actually happened. So I was told with this right here, don't get any bright ideas about having something else really come true. But in that one, what we had done is in high and dry 1, we took the first operational period of that scenario, put it together, and took it to the basic level. For our ham radio operators that were new or maybe inexperienced with working within that type of an environment, it allowed them to see basically how do you line up. If it's a sports analogy, how do we line up? So it got everybody on the field and in the proper places. Then we said, okay, we're going to go to the next operational period. That became months later when we did high and dry 2. That actually had a tactical component into it, and we did operations and made things work. And it was interesting for some of the folks there in Sarasota. They got tied in without knowing they were going to, with the food distribution to go into DeSoto County. And it was really interesting working with the diocese and what they were doing and having to adapt. So it worked out really great. So taking that same idea, making it into the Dark Start, which that whole thing is whenever they try to reinstitute the power into an area after they've lost it, you've got the potential that it expands actually instead of contracts. Instead of you putting more power into the system, it winds up contracting. So we did it as being the first operational period, had a very narrow scope. When I've worked with Dave as far as what do you want to see with this, they had just recently signed that interlocal agreement with NI4CE to be able to have all the ECs coordinate through the wide area system. So that was something that needed to be exercised without a whole lot of tension onto the system. Let it go through, let everybody walk through the paces at their own speed, and everybody comes back out better. If we want to do, and I'm looking over there to the guy, if the commander-in-chief says we're going to have a Dark Start 2, the idea with that would be to make it as like another 2 or 3 operational periods in. We now have been dark for a while. We're running out of fuel because you can't get in. It's only basically what was in your vehicles. So there would be a lot of things there. Food would be an issue, all these other parts of it. So I would suggest too, as a potential exercise with it, is to create a planning group way ahead of time and make actually a written plan, rather than where I did in Dark Start 1, which was you found out what it was even going to happen was the night before on the NI4CE regular EagleNet. They said, hey, tomorrow the lights are going to be out maybe. And they were. So this next one would be they've been out. We've got a written plan. We've been under a governor's declaration. Now where are we at, and what would be the tactical considerations? So that would be just something down the road to look into that. One of the other jobs that I have is trying to help with the rural communities which are understaffed comparatively to the coastal communities in this county. In this county, Pinellas, even Charlotte, Sarasota, you've got a lot of ham radio operators, a lot of volunteers. The rural communities aren't blessed with that by any means. So different scenario there as far as what their needs are. So one of the things we took advantage of is, and we had a need, was in DeSoto County. They had a new emergency management director. He'd been there 3 weeks when this drill came around. So we got the ECs from the surrounding counties to come in. We opened up that EOC on a Saturday. He had his staff there. The surrounding county sent some EM staff in, and we took the advantage of having the scenario to be able to work. So I would just encourage you to maybe take an opportunity like that. And Christine, I had asked you before, and then also Daryl, you were there as part of that coordinating group for Peace River. Anything that you want to add to it as far as what you experienced as an EC?
Okay, well, first of all, in case you don't know it, he is a great emergency coordinator. He's great at emergency scenarios. He's worked not only in his county, he's worked in our state, he's worked across the country. He's been in emergencies outside of the state of Florida, so he's great, and he tells us all about it. And my takeaway was I was totally excited about how excited the people were there that got invited. EMs from other places, some of the groups that work with emergency services came in, and they were all totally excited to see an exercise really working and what it could do, and some of the things that they could actually use to expand their ability to help their communities. So I think the exercise was an amazing success. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Daryl, you got anything that you need to add?
I don't think so. No, I think she pretty much covered it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that's pretty much it. We're going to see if there's the opportunity to do something later on. I'm more than happy to work with you all, and I'd love to see us expand it out and for all the counties. And this deal where we had the 3 county coordinators together and work together, and then had the emergency management people in there. The one thing you might want to look at is if we want to do one of these on a weekday instead of on a Saturday, and then that would allow out all the EOCs to pretty much have staff to be there that could, because that interaction was invaluable.
I think that's definitely something that we can get the that planning group to work on.
Yes.
And I will send out to the ECs a solicitation. We want, what do you figure, 5 or 10 people?
Yes.
For the planning group. And so watch for that in the emails.
Yep, and I would be looking at maybe like we did in high and dry 1 and 2, we split things into divisions. So we were already making the span of control actually meet what it's supposed to be. So
sounds good.
Okay, thank you all. Appreciate your work.